Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
Colorado will start accepting crypto for tax payments and other transactions by the end of summer, says the governor, Jared Polis, right here, told CoinDesk. That is extremely exciting, ladies and gentlemen. When you're taking crypto for taxes, that means it's money to Colorado. And that's what we want to see. And interestingly enough, as we move through this news today, remember, Texas bullish on crypto. We know Florida hugely bullish on crypto and moving towards it all the time. Wyoming. We know New Jersey even's opening up. New York is when the mayor there, and there needs to be even more to happen there. But we see so many on the state level really running to embrace. New Hampshire recently setting up and positioning themselves to draw more innovation into their state. That state to state level competition while the federal government still struggles. You're going to see evidence of that, and even on a global scale today, unfortunately. But this is a great point right here by John Dayton after he shared a post from Digital Asset Investor, which he shared. I think John Dayton is right. The Honorable SEC Chair, Gary Gensler, will resign before actually does anything honorable and answers questions about Ethereum, Free Pass, and his campaign finance. Russia problem, which we know, if you haven't seen it, go to ProCoin News and check out that whole article that's coming to light, because he was, in fact, the CFO for the Clinton campaign, Hillary's campaign in the early days there, and there's a lot of problems going on there that suggest that there's much there that is not over with. I can tell you that. Make sure you go to ProCoin News and check it out. He thought he would just stroll in and continue to live on public dole. Well, I have to agree with John Deaton here. I have voted and supported Republican and Democrats during my lifetime. So disgusted how Gensler has conducted himself and actually believe he's a threat to America's standing in the world, that my wish is for him to be constantly called before Congress, causing him to resign. I really do align with much of that. I have been very disappointed with Gary Gensler's approach and lack of leadership, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, it's just, I think Charles Gasparino said it best. We shared it in the first morning video, which was pathetic. And that is the word for it. Gary Gensler's position and his leadership and lack thereof is absolutely pathetic. Warren Buffett invests $1 billion into crypto-friendly bank, but I thought Warren Buffett said crypto was trash. These next few pieces of news are going to lay it out for you, because payment giant MasterCard to expand its consulting arm with new crypto services. So essentially, we know that MasterCard is expanding, Visa is expanding, but this is a transition period for these payment companies to really come together with fintech companies on the backside of things and get all of their restructuring going on to really bring in not only the influx of innovation, but this new world we're moving to. It is a digital transformation. But, come back to the investment side of it here. Warren Buffett's put his $1 billion behind a neobank, which is a non-brick and mortar bank, right? which is really saying to me that this long-term investor who has longly claimed that crypto is trash understands that there is going to be some kind of a digital transformation, and that the current payment companies like Visa and MasterCard and their business models are going to be hugely disrupted. And it appears to me that he is repositioning his money, or at least a portion thereof, into Nubank, which is obviously a neobank. And that is going to really be something I think he is doing as a hedge move into this new digital transformation. So he can then, probably a year or two, will retake the positions into Visa, MasterCard after they sort themselves out, or just before they do, so you can buy low, sell high. That's what the pros do. And Warren Buffett's one of the ultimate pros. And it looks like if the money's talking, that's where he's going. That's what I see here. Now, this here talks about really the XRP thrives even though the pending White House report on crypto could prove fatal for Ripple in SEC case. Honestly, it's a little misleading, right? It is the executive order that could prove really damaging to the entire crypto space, including XRP. Right? And really that's what we're looking for here is the executive order. They said could be out as early as last week, I believe it was, which did not happen. So any day is the word on the street for this executive order. What will the executive order be? We don't exactly know. But I do know that it's not going to take a shot at any one coin or project like Ripple or XRP. I don't see that. That's not what executive orders do. However, my concern is that they are going to really, whether it's the executive order or through some other measure, Congress, they're going to work to make the crypto space broadly digital asset securities. And there will be a great change then. We just don't know how hard they will take it at that point. But here's another problem. Talk about interesting coincidences, right? There are no coincidences in this world like this. Looky here. Jay Clayton is a Fireblock advisory board member 2021. The tie-up is a natural, said Fireblock CEO Michael Shaloff. It says here, noting the two firms have been working together on various payment-related use cases since 2019. Well, when you go into this, these payment use cases involve stable coins and cross-border use cases with merchants, business to consumer, business to business, so on and so forth. Well, isn't this interesting? Jay Clayton is an advisor on Fireblocks, which is pursuing making crypto and stable coins usage compatible with merchants and cross-border use cases, and Jay Clayton is the guy that decided to sue Ripple, which is pursuing, how about that, cross-border payments too. Well, I'm sure it's nothing, right? How much more of this impropriety and conflict of interest do we have to see? When I go back and think about the John Deaton tweet that he talked about how the fact that, Gary Gensler's leadership is really deplorable. Well, it is. You talk about pathetic, it is pathetic and deplorable. And honestly, he should be called to carpet for this. Why is nothing being done? At the very least, forget his own integrity of Gary Gensler. How about the SEC's integrity here? Something needs to be done, and we all need to continue to push through our own frustration and make our voices heard in the most professional way possible. U.S. representative introduces draft bill to regulate stablecoins, but is it the answer? I don't think so, or I certainly don't hope so. Because here's the real deal. Several representatives, including Tom Emmer, Democrat Gregory Meeks, opposed the President Working Group proposal, which is similar to Gottheimer's draft legislation that was submitted, sought to limit stablecoin issuances to banks. So he wants to do exactly what the PWG did, or recommended, which is to take stablecoins away from the fintech companies that created it. Oh, brother. Any other bright ideas, Gottheimer? Good gracious. House Financial Services Committee is expected to decide on stablecoin legislation in the next couple months. However, between competing bills and geopolitical tensions surrounding Russia and Ukraine, it could take considerably longer for such a decision to materialize, because they can't walk and chew gum in there, right? That's what your hard-earned tax dollars are getting you here. Right? They can't multitask. Interestingly enough, Charles Gasparino says a takeaway from Gary Gensler's talk with Liz Klayman yesterday on the differences between Ethereum's Ether and what Ripple did with XRP, he wouldn't comment. SEC generally doesn't comment on investigations, which means maybe they are weighing an Ether case. Well, I tell you what, I certainly hope so, Charles, and at this point, I'm going to remain glass half full, just like you are, my friend. And I appreciate you, Liz Klayman, and Eleanor Terrett, and everybody there, and Rosalind Layton from Forbes, that has done what they can to shine a light on this real conflict here. It is a conflict because if the SEC simply ruled the same way for Ether and said, you know what, Ether, you can't go out and play either, none of us would have a thing to say about what's taking place with this SEC case. But that isn't what happened. No. See, Ethereum got special acknowledgement from William Hinman while at the SEC, for which he used "we" a lot to encompass the agency for the integrity of his words being used. And now we have a decision made by a lawyer by the judge in the SEC case saying no, it was not a "we" agency representation. It was William Hinman's personal opinion. So if nothing else, I hope that John Deaton sues the pants off of William Hinman for allowing him to go out here and represent the SEC, because if he did it as his own personal opinion, then how did he not do it for his own private gain? because we know that he is involved with Simpson Thacker, which is involved with the Ethereum Alliance Foundation, and that is where they benefited, and he benefited to the tune of at least $15 million. This is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. While we're waiting for clarity, we're watching Ethereum get the free pass, and no one, including Gary Gensler, doing anything to right the wrong. And while that's happening, and they're getting away with that, billions and billions of more dollars are pouring into the Ethereum project because they've gotten that unique advantage. And you tell me how that is supposed to be the way we start this fourth industrial revolution. Not a solution make, I tell you this. Looking right here, I played these the other day, but I want to play this particular clip for you because not only are we having trouble in the US getting on the same page here, and they're pointing out stable coins are systemic risk. We know that crypto in general has been called a matter of national security. But you're about to hear the Financial Stability Board from the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, the central bank of central banks to the world, say exactly the same thing. Let me set the tone. Here we go.
The President's Working Group on Financial Markets recently identified a long list of risks posed by stablecoins. Run risk, payment system risk, concentrated economic power, illicit finance, investor protection, or to state that in slightly fancy, less fancy terms, it found that stable coins run the risk of helping cheaters steal people's money, financing terrorism, cyber attack, ransoms, and the drug trade, causing a run on the financial system like we saw in 2008, and allowing big stablecoin users to dominate markets and harm consumers. Now, Secretary Lang, do you agree that these kinds of risks mean that stablecoins are not just an emerging threat to our financial system, but a threat that could become systemic if this market continues to grow rapidly?
So, Senator Warren, thank you for the question. So I do think there is some urgency to considering stablecoins and applying the appropriate regulations to reduce run risk and the potential for them to scale up quickly.
So are you, just let me remind you what my question is. Do they pose the threat of becoming a systemic risk?
Of becoming a systemic risk, yes.
Yes.
Well, there you have it. The answer is yes. So now they're pushing to get FSOC to do the bidding of the government while the government doesn't do what they really could do, which is provide a classification for digital assets, this new emerging asset class. What is a crypto? What is a utility token? What is an exchange token? What is a stable coin? But no, they expect FSOC to do all of this with stable coins, systemic risk, which I totally understand, but without an actual legal legislative decision on what actually stable coins are. Now, we all know what they are for talking points, and there's a couple different kinds of stable coins, correct? Yes. But this is what's happening, and it's political posturing, and it makes me sick, and it should you too. We're hedging against U.S. inflation, and the FSB, which is the Financial Stability Board, is calling it a threat. Funded by the Bank of International Settlements, the umbrella group for central banks, crypto could derail financial stability. Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen? The United States, the laggard in regulatory clarity, has now got a global body in alignment with it. Listen here, because we're talking about the Financial Stability Board, an international organization that monitors and makes recommendation for the global financial system. Don't believe it. It's still true. Tell me how this is not a grab, globally coordinated effort for the banking institutions and governments around the world to remain in control and power through central bank digital currencies and stable coins, public-private relationship that they will approve of. Take a look right here, because we're talking about this. Cryptocurrencies tethered to value of real assets and decentralized finance, along with crypto trading platforms funded by BIS, the umbrella group for central banks. The FSB is chaired President Klaas Knot from the Netherlands Bank, I guess is how you say that. And if I didn't, forgive me. Although the global market is still relatively small and the extent of crypto use around the world varies, risk of financial stability could rapidly escalate, the Financial Stability Board said. By the way, there's usually an undersecretary. It used to be Brent, I can't remember his name in the previous administration, McIntosh, that's it. And it may be Nellie Liang on this one. But anyway, I digress. Look right here. The new report comes after regulators in multiple jurisdictions, including the U.S., the UK, reached similar conclusions in the 5 years through October 2021. The cryptocurrency market capitalization grew around 200% to 2.7 trillion, and we see we're about 2 trillion today. It says crypto assets markets are fast evolving and could reach a point where they represent a threat to the global financial stability due to their scale. Am I the only one hearing this right now? I know I can't be, right? By the pricking in my thumb, something wicked this way comes. You just watch.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.